So welcome to the collective Notes, Breaths and Words for the alto part. I'm going to share my screen and show you the music. So hopefully I'll get it right first time. There we go. Can we all see my music? And let's go up. Okay, it's not the end. So I'm just going to run through the birth marks. If you can write them on your sheet, as I just said a minute ago, so that you can start remembering where they are. They're all exactly as they are on the tracks, but some of them are really quick ones, so you might not be sure that that's actually a breath or not. And some phrases we don't breathe, we definitely do not want you to breathe. So I'll point those out to you as well. So the first breath is between the two sets of doo-doos. Do-do-do-do-do, breathe. And at the end of those doo-doos, breathe. Breathe at the end of a line rather than at the beginning of the next line. Finish the word, splat the breath in, which if you've seen the education sessions that Claire and Tanya and Rhiannon did with the SOVT straw thing, Claire talked about the splat breath. That's what kind of what you're doing there. A nice splat breath at the end, so you can come in, it's not the end, my friend, then another breath there. The ones that are just big V's are just normal breaths. Everything has happened for a reason, and then another breath where there's a little rest. If I'm going too fast, you just have to kind of shout at me. Let's not pretend it's not been hard, and another breath. Even though there's no rest, there's a breath. So take a breath in there, feeling oh so close while being far apart, breath. They're all fairly where you expect them to be, so there's not many surprises where breathing's concerned. Is this the life that I thought I'd lead? Then we breathe. All is silent on the empty streets. Now, between streets and but, there's a little quaver rest. There's a quick breath there. So that block triangle means a quick breath. But then a message rings out, so true. We have a normal breath. Even though there's no rest, we have a breath. I am not alone. I'm right here. Breathe. Now you need to take a big breath there. So I've marked on my own personal music, BB, big breath, because the next phrase, with you, is a long held note. So here I stand is also a long note and there's no breath in between. So that red arch that we've got there means no breath. So you're doing the whole of with you, so here I stand, all in one breath, and it's quite a long phrase. And then between stand and it's, you've got a quick breath. Even though there's no rest, it's a really quick breath. And then after it's not the end, before I see the, you've got another quick breath. I'm hoping you're all still with me, moving my music up. So I see the light with you, my friend. There's a breath in there. Now I've kind of sliced off a note here in order to get the breath in. I'm not suggesting that the friend length of friend is not as long as it is written, but it's not a quick breath, it's just a normal breath. So something has to give there. So it's more of an indication that not the full value of that tied note will be sung. But you don't really need to worry about it. Just put in a breath there before we've, after friend. We've come so far. Let's see it through. There's a breath in between through and I'm. And that also is a big breath because you've now got a long phrase to sing. I'm not alone, that much is true, one day we'll start our and. That's our longest phrase, apart from the very long note at the end. That's the longest phrase. So in there, you might want to put a ninja breath in. If you want to put a ninja breath in, just miss out a small word. What we don't want, obviously, is to have the end of stand running out of energy. So that's where we need the energy. We need the energy on the true. So that's not one you would miss out. I'd miss out much or is or will. That's what I would miss out if I was taking a ninja breath, one of those. So one day we'll stand. Then we've got a quick breath before side. So we sing quick breath side by side, another quick breath. Oh, how our hearts will fill with pride. Okay. You're all furiously writing, so I'll wait a bit, let you catch up. Oh, it's like being a teacher at a class, waiting for your class to catch up with your dictation.
So Karen, can I just?
Of course.
So that there is the, I don't know whether my copy is up to date. So yeah, we have got that note change in what, bar 40, the 29, where it goes up to far. And then there's one later on as well.
This music I'm showing you is the up-to-date music.
Okay, because it was lower, but it was definitely higher on the. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you print off, if you go to the, well, hopefully we'll have this one loaded up shortly, which will be the right music as well. But if you have the, the new music is on the OneDrive already.
Yeah, I thought we only printed it yesterday. My husband's doing it as well, but obviously, never mind. It's okay.
Okay. As long as you're aware of where your differences are, that's okay.
Yeah. Just go with the teach track.
Absolutely, always, unless we say don't. But this time, yes. Okay, so where did I get to? When they will stand side by side. Here we go. Our hearts will fill with pride. So that's our next breath, between pride and when. So we're on bar 36 right now. When all around was dark and blue, take a breath after blue, but before the I of I found my star. Going to move my music down just a tad. So breathe before I found my star, you found one too, breathe. This section is kind of what I would call the bridge. So it's different from all the different pattern, different note pattern, different style from, not style, different notes from the beginning of the song or the end of the song. So the bridge section. And so we know that things must change, breathe. We know that life must rearrange, breathe. But all we've just seen and all we've done, breathe, will shape the world for years to come, breathe. So that's the little bridge section. And then we're going back to a reprise of what we've sung before on page 1. So we're breathing before, so here I stand, it's not the end. And then there's a quick breath between end and I see the light. So the little quick breath in there. I see the light with you, my friend. So between friend and we've got a breath. We've come so far, let's see it through. We've got a breath. I'll just move my music up so it's more visible. So we're here, bar 50 something, 55. So between through and I'm, we have a breath. I'm not alone. Oh, it's a big breath. Forgot that bit. So in 55, big breath between through and I'm, because we've got another long phrase. I'm not alone, that much is true, one day we'll stand. So it's the same pattern as the previous time. It's the same long phrase, I believe. Quick breath before side by side and a quick breath after the second side before the oh how. Oh, how our hearts will fill with pride. Another breath there. When all around was dark and blue, a breath there. After blue and before I. I found my star, breathe. You found one too, breathe. It's not the end, breathe. Loads of breaths all over the place. With you, my friend, breathe. never the end, it's not the, all in one breath. We breathe just before our final note end. You'll need a big one there too. It's quite a long phrase. Well, phrase, it's a long note. It's a long held note. And when you hear the all track, I mean, I'm sure you've probably heard the all track already, but when I listen to the all track, I realize why it's held for so long, because some lovely stuff's happening after we come in. It's like a bell chord to begin with, and then that solo part does something else. It's just, oh, it's glorious. So that's why we need to hold on and have the energy to get us right to the end. So if you need to breathe in the middle of that, it's a ninja breath again. So you fade out and come just softly back in, and then full pelt at the end. Yay. Okay. Is that okay with everybody? Are you with me? Excellent. Whilst we've got the music out, I'm going to zip right back up to the top again. And actually, I won't zip to the top. I'll zip to the bottom. The bits with blue circles, did you spot those down here? So if you want to circle these notes, what these notes, these circles are dictating is that these notes are different the second time round. So we've got a phrase, we start, so here I stand, it's not the end, I see the light with you, my friend, we've come so far, let's see it through, I'm not alone, that much is true, one day we'll stand side by side. It's all the same as before until you get to side, we're singing singing a higher note, we're singing a C, whereas before we sang an A. So these I circle so that in my head I can picture the circle. I know I'm going to be singing a different note to what I sang earlier. So side by side is higher than we sing first time round. And then before, the first time round, Hearts Will Fill with Pride was all on one note. It was all on D. This time we're singing with, we go down to the B and then up to an E on Pride. It's very tuneful, so it doesn't feel wrong, but it is different to the first time we sang it. So instead of singing all the same, we've got two different notes to sing. And then when all around, the notes are not different, but there's one missing. So in the first time round, we sing C, D, E. And the second time round, we're just going from C straight to E. And they're the only note differences between those two sections that are similar. Okay? The other thing I'd like to point out at this stage, before we're going to get kicked out in 5. So what I'd like to do is just quickly go over one other thing, and then I'll drop the session and we'll come back in again so we can actually get some practice in doing some singing. So we have, I'll get to my other piece of music. Where is it? Oh, it's on page 2 as well. Ha ha ha. Couple of little things I noticed when I was singing. I want to do it one way and the track does it another, but actually the music is right. I just wasn't reading it correctly. So I thought I'd point it out because I felt I've fallen over it. So we have in bar 41, know that things must. Must looks like it's just a short note like that and things are, but it isn't. It's tied over to the next bar. So it's actually a longer note. It's a whole crotchet. So it's just something to be aware of. And what I've done on my music is I've put an arrow under must and with words carry over to the next line. So that's what I do to remind me that must is longer than I expect it, than I see it on the music. It isn't, it's absolutely correct. It's tied, but it goes to the next line. And the next one of those is down here on 4 years to come. So we sing 4 years to come rather than 4 years to come. So that's the difference. It's a tied note again. That 2 is tied to bar 48, that F just there before we sing come. So it makes that come and it makes the change on the offbeat. And when you hear it with everybody else, you hear how it fits in because some are coming in on the downbeat and we're coming in slightly after. So that's why that's written that way. And there's one more of those that I spotted that tripped me up. That's down the bottom of page 2 if you want to know about it. Is that my there? So in 67, with you, my friend. So the my carries over to the next bar. Friend starts on the offbeat. Or a split second after the bar. It's not exactly the offbeat. Or is it? Probably. Okay. Does that all make sense? So that, in a nutshell, is the music, is the notes and the breaths and the words. It's all there. We just haven't sung it yet. I'm going to stop my share for the moment. Ah, there you are. I love it. I love it when I get back to you guys, because when I share my screen, I see 3 people. And I like to see you all. So are we all okay with that? Have we got everything noted down that we need to? Great.
Can I just pipe up and say I'm surprised that that we have a breath on bar, oh gosh, where did I mean? Sorry, bar 49, before So Here I Stand, because we don't have a breath at the same place on 24.
Correct.
And I was always taking one thinking, no, it's obvious that you're not supposed to do it there. So I'm surprised that we do have one on the next page.
Yeah. I would take that to, if I've taken that to make it known to myself that, it's not very good English, that I'm now singing towards the end of the song. So the interpretation is slightly different.
Okay.
So that's what I've marked. Yes, there's a breath there. We do sing a breath, have a breath there, and we don't the first time round. So the second time round, that whole section from So Here I Stand is slightly different than the first time round. So I take that breath to remind me it's going to be different now. I've got different notes to sing, to remember to sing, and different places to breathe.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So yeah. Cool. Any other quick questions before I drop the sesh?
Yeah.
Yes, Mary.
Did you say there's been some newly printed music put on? Because I printed this off as soon as it came onto the OneDrive.
Yes.
I did notice there was a couple of notes that were different on the track. So
yeah, there is.
Okay.
It was updated just literally about an hour before we went live with the day of launch.
Okay. So I can just change the notes on this music rather than
you
print.
Can do if you like. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
so long as you're aware that what you're looking at is not what everyone else will be singing.
I can tell. Yeah.
Great. Right. I'm going to drop the session and let's stop the session